stated, and the objective of development is unattainable without having women at the forefront. Gentlemen, those that are in this room and those who will meet outside of these doors, those one up into their professional careers. Because this is when you truly demonstrate time for women has been. And it's up to those of us who have been benefactors of patriarchy to humble ourselves, to open those doors, to add a chair to that boardroom table, and if need be, to step aside. Having a woman at the driving seat does not negate our arrival at our destination. And that's something that I believe as men we need to internalize. And as we engage in vibrant discussions and activities that delve into overarching challenges that hinder with character and with foresight, let us walk the walk, mean what we say, and take responsibility in creating a just and inclusive society. If not, thank you very much.
You actually empower. So I need to, from last year, Patricia, who was our keynote speaker, who's our chief guest this year, she's like, don't apologize, but I need to apologize. And it's great that we have all the conversations that are going to feature all these things. Our next speaker is indeed somebody who I think I met her almost 3 years ago, and since then she's always been a huge support. When I reached out to her team to ask her to speak today, there was no hesitation. Big supporter of what women want through herself and her company as well. Din.
Thank you, Pinky, for this Oscar nomination. Sorry, Emmy, Nelson Mandela, Tutu. Here it is, What Women Want Summit. Yes, very good morning to everyone. I begin by thanking the God Almighty for blessing us with this day, and really a huge round of applause for Pinky Gilani for putting up an army of women here this morning. And it's going to be an exciting next couple of days. And she correctly says, yes, I talk a lot about women. And I'll start with telling you a little bit about my family. My mom got married very early. And her firstborn child was a girl, my firstborn sister. A few years later, she had me, the second girl in the family. Again, 3 years later, she said, let me give it another shot. And she got a third girl. She did tried for the fourth time, and it was a girl again. So that makes us 4 girls in the family. It was now time for my sister to get married, and she got married, and her firstborn child was a girl. And a few years later, she got another girl. It doesn't end there. Stay with me. Squeezed in 2 boys, but I also got a girl. My third-born sister got a girl too. And my fourth-born sister also got a girl. Stay with me. The first sister that we had, who I told you has 2 daughters, she got married, and her firstborn daughter's a girl too. So that makes me a grand auntie. On my husband's side of the family, his firstborn sibling was a girl, and a girl again for the second time, and a girl again for the third time, and a girl again for the fourth time until he came. So you can see on both sides of the family, active. Life, a significant, of course, improvement, but at the MP Shah Hospital, 53% of the heads of department are women, 63% of the managers are women, senior management managers are women. When I first walked into my interview at the MP Shah Hospital, I was asked the first question, because my name is Tosif. Tosif is a very unisex name. And the board member asked, oops, I thought she was a woman. I thought she was a man. Thankfully, he's left. I've been in the MP Shah Hospital for the last 14 years. And I was the head of finance. A few years later, I was the acting chief operations officer. And then a few years later, COO. A few years later, the acting CEO. And now finally, I'm the CEO. So it's been a journey to be able to scream, as Pinky shouted, to be where you belong. That squeaking topic, that of how can women on top pull. Equality is giving everyone in this room shoes. Shoe fits. So workplace equity is the first thing that we women should do. Give everyone, even on pay. Why should a female doctor earn less than a male? Why should a mathematics professor male earn more than a woman? So workplace equity is extremely for us as women leaders. O, the second letter in women. We have issues with our families. We have teenagers that we are raising. We've got issues with alcohol abuse of our children. We've got abusive marriages. We've got mental health breakdowns. And yes, as Pinky mentioned a few seconds ago, menopause. I can see a lot of people, of course, I know the AC is not working, Arja, but I see a lot of fans being flickered in here. So I want to confirm that they are bordering menopause or are there. But it is so important for us to have open communications in our workplace. At the MP Shah Hospital, we have an employee support group where we frequently talk about mental health issues. And I encourage you to include those support groups in your networks. M, the third letter in women. Mentorship. It is so crucial for us to be mentors. A couple of women leaders that I meet, they say, Tosif, I'm too busy. I want to give back, but I don't have the time. Instead, go read my blog. I write a lot of blogs, but give time. That time is so important for your transformational journey. You need someone to hold your hand. I remember when I was venturing into my career as an accountant, I didn't have anyone to guide me. And my grandmother told me, Tosif, accounting sounds interesting. Don't do IT, you'll spoil your eyes. And I ventured into a male-dominated profession. That time, we only had a handful of accountants in Kenya. Mentorship is crucial. But with mentorship, remember you as the mentee, you should not be spoon-fed. You should be able to listen to your mentor, take their advice, execute the resourceful nuggets that they share with you. But in the process of mentorship, my lovely ladies, remember the power of reverse mentorship. You also learn from your mentees. So keep mentoring. At the MP Shah Hospital, just about 6 months ago, we inaugurated a new program called the Waka Mentorship Program. Waka is a Kiswahili word meaning ignite, and we are igniting forces beyond powers at the MP Shah Hospital. The fourth letter, E, empowerment. Are we empowering the women who are reporting to us and even the men? By the way, men don't like female mentors. But go out there and show them that you can be an excellent mentor to them as well, and listen to their perspectives as well. for this talk. And over the next couple of months, you will be invited for more talks, maybe here locally, maybe internationally. Can we delegate this talk to somebody else in the workplace? Do you have to be there every time? Have the courage to encourage other women under you to go out there and speak. And you know what? And the handbag. Shed those fears. The first is sell yourself. Who are you? What can you bring to the table? 3 years of experience. I'm a top 40 under 30 of the most influential CEOs in Kenya, 100 of the most influential people in Kenya. Why should I be shy to tell you here? So put yourself out there. Identify your need. What do you want from this conference, from these colleagues here? So the first one, power of networking, and that completes women. Influence others. Don't sit in that corner office. Use your power there, expose yourself, and put your full self out there. And finally, my lovely Ati, Roshni Jankaria, Shahira, and Maureen, who have joined me here today. Asanteni sana, God bless you, and have great deliberations.
I'm so glad you spoke this morning and you really lifted her tongue, I'm sure. Like for you. Our next speaker is somebody who I look up to. She's a very interesting person, encouraged and empowered me. I was floored. And I spoke to her just the other day as well, and just to come off what Dr. Tauseefa said, women. We can learn a lot from the younger generation. They're doing big things. And thank you, Youth. It's menopause. She is the reason that, this event is happening the way it is. Arja Shah, please welcome.
Wow. You did not make it easy to go after you, Dr. Din. Honestly. Who's excited for this weekend? I mean, it's packed. And I think Pinky literally did put me up on a pedestal right now. Only a group of women. World that often tries to impose conformity because I do not care for the suit. However, this country has taught me that and culture actually. One where a person is uplifted. It begins by surrounding ourselves with a source of inspiration that fuels, making me realize that I always have to make a meaningful impact in this world. While I go on and on about the societal expectation, not realizing the power of gossip, it was very realized that this is not the reflection of women as a whole, but a product of what she started her journey when she was just a young girl in Pakistan. Never let it deter her. With the support of her family, coaches, fans, and became a trailblazer and a role model. I did myself to support everyone in my life, empowering them to create a world where we plant seeds of peace and hope. In Kenya, I honestly think we're lucky. We have societies that are based on matriarchal.
She was like, you know what, I like Fox and Johnny Walker. We are actually able to celebrate all of us this morning. And
I want to believe that in the next 3 days, we'll get the answers for beer, but I want to believe that afterwards, in the evening, we'll have a nice sip of our Johnny Walker. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, we just offered a very nice breakfast, from Journey. Ideas, creativity, daring souls, and full of progress and power. I must say that. I must also say that I'm very excited to be in the camp to enjoy quality time over a quality drink as we celebrate. And I'm an advocate of celebrating small wins. Because bigger wins start by small wins. We are always walking and making bold strides and steps. That's the theme. To take a picture of the lovely boat out there which says "Choose." And that is what I'm going to be talking to you this morning with regards to what we can do as corporates and in Society 2030 spirit of progress. I started by saying that I'm happy to be in a room full of progress. This was intentional, given that our brand, Johnnie Walker, and our sustainability strategy are both. African Breweries Limited, therefore, drives progress through its corporate agenda as well as through its brands. Lady connections, learn from each other, and various speakers that will grace this event. Now allow me to set the space. It's about educating our consumers to drink better, not more, by celebrating moderation, drinking responsibly. So even when you go out, I'm sure my colleagues will talk to you more responsibly. So even when you go out, I'm sure my colleagues will talk to you more about responsibility. That we've got 3 pillars. I'm going to jump to the 3rd pillar because I want to spend a little bit more time on the 2nd pillar. The 3rd pillar is what we call by decarbonizing our operations and ensuring that we use water across our carefully. Everybody is now talking about matters to do with climate change. And I can confidently tell you this morning that there is no business if we really do not take care of our planet. There is no business on a dead planet. Therefore, at East African Breweries Limited, we're very keen on this, and we really do our best to make sure that we decarbonize operations, fuels to the tune of 5 billion Kenyan shillings, and that is just one step, and you're going to do many, many more. Now let me come back to the 2nd pillar, and this is the reason as to why we're here this morning. And it's really about what we as women want. This pillar is proudly called Champion Inclusion and Diversity, and it is about celebrating diversity and shaping a tolerant society. It covers the aspects of gender, which is what I'll talk about. It covers the aspect of age groups. It covers the aspects of disability and ethnic diversity as well. Allow me to just take you on a very short journey. Again, I'm very cognizant of time. To show internally amongst our staff members and externally, that as at the end of our last financial year or last fiscal year, 20% of women being in leadership, and the men were feeling exclusion of men, ladies and gentlemen. I've talked about the internal targets that we have. The first one that I'd like to touch on, which really supports women, especially as we go through tough times, is what we call the pregnancy loss guidelines. Pregnancy guidelines, ladies. It happens, and research shows that there are big numbers. A process that requires time and patience, and a carrying mother who loses pregnancy after up to 26 weeks of leave. Now, for those who are good in numbers, you can calculate and see how many months those are. The other one is really about domestic and family abuse guidelines. And I'm sure some of you will look at me and wonder, oh, that is something that is very personal. Why are you meddling in people's affairs? But I can tell you that we recognize domestic and family abuse has a devastating impact on the person and professional lives of those who experience it. We therefore support affected employees through what we call the 4 Rs, which is a Raise, Reach, React, and Refer program. And I'm not going to go into details about that. If you really want to know more, I'm not wishing that you get into any kind of domestic abuse, but I would encourage you to come and work with us if you want to know more about this. And the 3rd one is something that I am very passionate about, and that's why I even carried up all agree with me. It's not an easy time, when we get to this age, in our mid-40s, and you start to get those hot flashes and you're standable in their skin like that. be comfortable in your skin like that. And not only do we stop it at the women, but men, now this brings me to the external aspect as well. I was talking about internal. Let me talk very quickly about the external aspects. We also have targets for the external aspect of reaching out to the communities. Remember, I said that our sustainability strategy has got targets. Externally as well, 50% of our beneficiaries of our community investment projects are supposed to be women. I am happy to let you know that by last year, 57% of women were beneficiaries of our community investment projects. And it's not only about them being beneficiaries, but we have propelled them to leadership positions. We've got water projects, which is normally called WASH, and I believe that most of you would be conversant with the WASH projects. And we've got other projects as well. And what we have done is we have said that these women are not only going to be beneficiaries, but they are also going to be in the leadership of the committees that look after these projects. We are the biggest users of water anyway, when you go to the local levels, even at our levels as well. We wash, we clean, we do everything with water. So how come is it that we're not in the decision-making docket? And now I am happy to inform you that WASH projects. And now I'm going to move very quickly to our brands. How do our brands dignity? Because of time constraints, I will not touch on more than one. I'll just touch on the one that is sponsoring this event today, Johnny Walker. And I must say that Johnny Walker is all about taking bold steps and keeping walking. It is about Ports Women's Golf, for example, and has been sponsoring the Magical Kenya Ladies Open. And another very vivid example, and what is happening here today, that hat of the head of sustainability, and speak generally for just maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And I will not unpack the details of what members and friends yesterday. I walked around asking women, at different age groups, what is it for what we want to achieve in the next 3 days? And I got very interesting responses. And that is why I started with a question earlier on, perspective. And another one said, you are millennials, born between 1980s and 1994. And there are quite a number, but I'll go through this very quickly. They said, Juanita, all we want is a balanced life. This one, very interesting, to touch on leadership, said she wants to be feminine, but still be an assertive leader. She wants somebody to open the car, the bag for her, but she still wants to be assertive. And she says, I don't want to be a macho woman. I don't want that ego thing coming. Be a woman and be looked up as a woman, and not really to become a leader. Another one said she wants all-round stability. She talked about financial, spiritual, and good mental and physical health. Somebody talked about progress, fulfillment, joy, and fun. And we are in the business of celebrating life every day, everywhere. And another one talked about independence, thought leadership, positive change, and freedom. And the last one in this category told me she wants a stable career, she wants independence, she wants meaningful relationships. I said, okay, fine, I'm going to pack that. All this I'm going to, give to Pinky. She's got 3 days to make sure that we get all this sorted out. I talked to the Gen X. These are the ones who were born, between 1965 and 1979. I talked to 2 of them, and it was very interesting on how correlated their responses were. These are 2 ladies from completely different departments, completely different locations. They didn't even know that I was talking to either of them. And they are in their 40s, above, that side of life. I said, look, all I want is peace of mind. I want no surprises. I want a consistent ecosystem. I want size. And she culminated it by saying, I want blue of the ocean calmness. In our 60s want. And this is what I found out. That we want to travel, do knitting, crochet, that. We want to do a lot of knitting. We want friendship. We want financial. We want to do a lot more of meditation. Ladies, when it comes out very clearly, and this is what we're doing from an organization perspective, giving progress and dignity. And I'm sure you're wondering, why did Juanita go to all that extent, to even talk to friends in the room? The people that I spoke to are represented in this room. I see you ladies who are in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. I can see you are in this room. And I want to yesterday may rhyme with some of you in here in a big memorable. And that is what we want to achieve from a joint perspective. Having looked at our 3-day program, I'm confident that the themes and and also the research, she says, behind every great woman is another great woman.